Hello and welcome to your favourite teacher. Today we will be looking at how Germany changed from a monarchy to a republic at the end of the First World War. So, we begin with some context. Since 1888, Germany had been ruled by Kaiser Wilhelm II. Kaiser being the German word for emperor or king. Although Germany had a parliament called the Reichstag, the Kaiser was a strong leader and had most of the decision-making power. In August 1914, the First World War started. Germany had many early victories. However, by the autumn of 1918, the Kaiser was in big trouble. The war had gone on longer than people thought. The German army was retreating and the German people faced starvation. Faced with the threat of occupation, it was clear that Germany needed the war to come to an end. The Allies, Britain, France and America, would only make peace with Germany if she got rid of the Kaiser and set up a new democratic government. That is a political system where representatives are elected by the people. There were violent uprisings or revolts against the Kaiser as people called for him to abdicate or step down. The army and navy mutinied or rebelled against him. On the 9th of November 1918, the Kaiser fled to the Netherlands, and on the 11th of November 1918 at 11 a.m, the armistice was agreed between the Germans and the Allies. A truce had been called and the fighting came to an end. The First World War was over. A new democratic republic was established to run Germany. In a republic, the president, an elected or nominated representative, leads the country rather than a king or queen. In 1919, there was a general election. Friedrich Ebert from the Social Democratic Party became president. There was too much violence in Berlin, the capital, for the new government to meet there, so it met in the town of Weimar. The government was therefore called the Weimar Republic. During 1919, a constitution was drawn up. This was a set of rules for how Germany would be governed. It was very different from the old system of rule under the Kaiser. In fact, the Weimar Constitution was the most democratic system of government in the world at the time. The system worked like this. The president was the leader of the republic. They were elected by the people every 7 years, and amongst other things, they controlled the armed forces. The president appointed the chancellor. The chancellor was like a prime minister. They were chosen from the Reichstag by the president, but needed the support of more than half of the Reichstag, the German parliament, to carry out their duties effectively. The Reichstag voted on new laws, and its members were elected every 4 years by the German people. The new republic faced many challenges, and we will be examining the reasons for this as we move through the coming episodes. Ultimately, you will need to be able to analyse these problems and evaluate which one was the most significant. For now though, let's take a look at some of the key features of the new republic and consider whether it should be viewed as a strength or weakness. One of the key features of the new republic was that it was based on a system of proportional representation, meaning that the amount of power each political party held in the Reichstag was proportional to the percentage of votes that they were able to secure in the general elections. This is different to our first-past-the-post system, where in general elections the party who secures the majority of votes in each constituency, that is, each area where people vote for an MP to represent them in Parliament, goes on to form the government. Proportional representation meant that the seats in the Reichstag were shared fairly according to each political party's popularity with the public, a strength. However, it meant that no one party had a majority, and therefore decision-making was often slow, as there were such a wide range of viewpoints within the Reichstag. This would be problematic, particularly in times of emergency or crisis, where quick action was needed. It led to small extremist parties, such as the Nazis, being able to gain a foothold within the Reichstag. Often, governments did not last for long. If decisions couldn't be made by the Reichstag, then the president did have the power to use Article 48, which authorised the president to push through new laws without the consent of the Reichstag, which in itself could be viewed as a weakness as it worked against the idea of democracy. The new constitution also enabled free speech. This could be seen as a strength. We live in a democracy today where our freedom of speech is valued and protected. It could be argued that this helps the debate and encourages people to be politicised. However, freedom of speech also leaves governments open to criticism, and the new republic often found itself under attack, as there were still many Germans who had supported the Kaiser and were opposed to the republic and the politicians who made up the Weimar government. Importantly, many of these critics were members of the army and the judiciary, institutions which the republic would need on side if it was to remain stable and strong. So, as you can see, the republic was not going to have an easy ride, and its challenges were only to get worse. But To find out more, you'll have to tune into the next episode. I'm Miss Wayner, and we've been examining how Germany moved from a monarchy to republic and analysing the new republic's strengths and weaknesses. Thanks for watching.